Hey dolls, welcome to episode 1 of the Pussycat Dolls. I'm Charlie.
I'm Bella.
And I'm Jessa.
And today we're going to get into apprenticeships, women in the industry, and why we decided to podcast. Thank you for the support, and let's get into it.
Oh my shit.
Oh shit. So. No, we're all awkward. But we wanted to talk about apprenticeships first. And
I want to
start
right into it.
Yeah, get right into it. I want to start with Jessa, just because she's been tattooing for the longest.
Okay,
Like fucking 22 years, something like that.
You beat us by like way.
Since she was a fetus.
Yeah, I came out.
Yeah.
With a machine.
She's in there like, ting.
Okay, but like, what should I get into? I mean,
well, just like, how did you get an apprenticeship? Like, what were you doing before, like, when you were under 18?
okay. I mean, okay, so I started, well, I was really interested. Okay, I got interested into tattooing when I was 9.
God
damn.
Because
I was even like thinking.
I just knew last year I
back
wanted
in
to tattoo.
1987. No. But, so, super interested in tattooing because of Miami Ink. And then LA Ink came out later too. But, yeah, Miami Ink, Ami James, like that whole thing. Yeah. I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. Because I always wanted to be an artist anyways. Like, even in kindergarten, like, you know, they ask you what you want to be when you grow up. I said, I want to be an artist. I didn't know.
Say I wanted to be a baby doctor. I'm like, what the fuck did that mean?
I've said that before too.
What the
a baby
that
doctor?
mean? Why would I say that?
Okay.
Anyways, sorry.
All right, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. So yeah, artist, whatever. 9 years old.
Yeah.
TV show comes out. I'm like, okay, this is really cool because you could be like, you could actually make a living off of art.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about making a living, but like, you know, like, oh, it could actually be a job.
Yeah.
So then I saw Kat Von D on Miami Ink, and I was like, oh shit, like, I could do it.
Yeah,
like she
badass chick doing it.
Like she's dope. She's doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know, like she's not. Everybody has their things, but like you know, whatever. It was cool. It was inspirational. And then when I was like 9, I started drawing on like my friends in the in our little fucking apartment complex. Like, I would get the little fake tattoos from the quarter machine, and I'd like draw them. I'd trace them like 1,000 times until I could do it from memory. And then I was drawing on people with Sharpies. They would like literally wait for their turn to get a little fake Sharpie tattoo by me.
Oh, wow, you're famous.
Yeah, you know, so like, I already had a clientele.
I already had a clientele in mind.
So whatever. So yeah, so we were doing that, and then my parents were just super supportive, and they were both kind of like artsy too. Like they would draw, and then I would like, even my mom would draw like little pictures, and then I would copy her drawings. So I was just kind of like getting used to like looking at something, copying it, looking at something, copying it. So I just knew that, like, oh, if I do this, like, again and again, I'll get better. Yeah. And then by the time I got 14, I was just, like, really wanting to do it. And my parents bought me a tattoo, like, beginner's kit when I was 14 for Christmas or something.
Insane.
Yeah, they're crazy. But, yeah, so I got the kit, and then I just started from then. And then I just was
What was your first tattoo?
Well, I tattooed my dad first. I was doing face skins a little bit.
What was it of?
I think like the skins just came with little designs on them.
Oh, okay.
So there was one, I think it was like a dragon.
Like on your dad though? What'd you do?
Okay, so on my dad I did the letter J.
For what?
Not for me. Not for Jessa.
His name.
It was for Joseph.
Oh. He loved himself.
He loved himself.
You know, but no, because he actually tattooed himself with like a little stick and poke, like needle and thread, and India ink, and like did like a little stick and poke J on his own shoulder. And then when I finally started tattooing, I just covered it with a bigger J. We were like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Let's just do a J. So we did that. That was cool, and then I just started, and I just kept at it. And then.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Do you feel like your parents were like more supportive of like the part of like you can actually make money in art, or do you feel like that they were like, oh, like you're gonna be broke doing this?
Like you can just do whatever you want to do.
No, they were more like
you're
it doesn't matter. No, that it doesn't even matter what you do. Like we just want you to do what makes you happy. Yeah. And they like dope. My whole life was just like, yeah, just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And so like it just gave me like the freedom to like do that.
Yeah. No, that's great because
yeah.
it's a great foundation for a child too because I didn't have that. Nobody had nobody around me had that even. So like that's what makes your perspective so different too because
because I feel like growing up, like everybody would tell me like you'll never make money off art.
Yeah.
And so I just like didn't even like
or they
think
just make
it was a
fun of you
choice
so much.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh yeah, I won't do it because it's stupid, it's cringy or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just kept at it. And then when I was 16, I tried to get an apprenticeship, and I went to this guy. So like, with my parents' work, we like knew a guy that owned a shop. And so I went to that shop and I asked the guy for an apprenticeship, but I went with my dad because I was shy as fuck. And so he was, helping me. My dad was there. And then so we were like, okay, like I kind of, I want an apprenticeship and I'm like serious about it. And he's like, I can't fucking give you an apprenticeship. You're 16 years old. Like come back in 2 years.
You fucking idiot.
But so it was cool though because he had a female apprentice at the time. So I was like, okay, like maybe this guy's cool. Like, whatever. So then I did come back when I was 18, asked him again, and I got it.
Oh, that was Lyle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
I went and got tattooed by another artist when I was 18. I think I might have mentioned it to him, but it just ended up working out with Lyle. So yeah, I got the apprenticeship with him. He
what did he teach you?
I mean, since I was already tattooing, so at that point I was already tattooing 4 years at home, self-taught. But so once
you felt like you already knew the basics.
I knew I didn't know shit. Like I was
humble.
Like I knew I was shit.
Yeah.
I knew I was trash.
Yeah.
But so I went in there and so basically I did kind of like a test tattoo. And so I tattooed my dad again, and so Lyle kind of like watched me in on that one, and I tattooed like this little like running man on my dad's calf. But and I got my little setup and like I put Vaseline out on my tray, and he was like, "Don't ever use Vaseline."
Really?
Yeah. First day I was like what?
Why?
He's like, because it like clogs the pores and shit like that, and I'm like, okay. And so I was just like, oh my god, I don't know shit.
You're like, I'm an idiot.
You're like already fucked up.
Bitch.
Fuck up this tattoo.
You're like 2 seconds in.
Yeah. But whatever. So like I had that apprenticeship. He was really cool. Like I didn't have any like weird experience with him. Like he was really cool. It was a slow shop though, so like we weren't that busy, but I'd have to clean every day. I was answering phone calls, that type of apprenticeship.
And at the time too, like I would, because I was around then, we'd just come to the shop and sit, and they had recliners in the lobby area, and we'd just sit in the lobby and like hang out. Like it was so chill. Yeah, it was super slow. I remember like nobody would ever come in.
It was like in this industrial area. It was like
okay, so there wasn't like hella walking.
There was no traffic.
There was no traffic.
It was like. Except tweakers, maybe, if they're on their bike.
Yeah.
Tweakers?
No, it was cool, though. But, yeah, the guys I worked with were cool. Like, no weird nothing. So.
Do you feel like when you first started, you tatted a lot of tweakers? Because I feel like I did.
Maybe, here and there, yeah.
Well, you were in South Sac, too,
also,
for a long time.
but like...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not at that,
I didn't know that.
Not
so,
at that time, but later on.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, but even before that, when I was tattooing at home for a couple years, I was tattooing, like, just people in the trailer park.
Yeah.
I was just, like, tattooing whoever.
Yeah.
I was tattooing, like, my classmates, their parents, my teachers, like, anybody that would let me.
Isn't that crazy? Your teachers? Like, what the fuck?
Like, teachers would let me.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
it's insane they were letting a teenager tattoo them.
Because I feel like whenever somebody's, like, free tattoos or when it's, like, for super low money, like, they don't care. Like, most of the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't know at the time, like, what good work was. Like, that was...
It's different now.
That was fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, tattooing has already changed so much.
Yeah, tattoos look so different now.
Yeah,
definitely. And then, where'd you go after that? So after Lyle's, like, how long were you there?
I was at Lyle's for, like, I think only, like, a year, maybe a little bit over a year.
Really? It felt like so much longer to me.
It felt
in my
like
head.
a long time,
Like
but
a long time.
only, short time. But, and then I think, like, it started slowing down at the shop, and, like, I started, like, coming in less because the shop was so slow, and, like, I was also 19, so I was, like, lazy, and so I wouldn't come in every single day, and because nobody would fucking walk in. So, like, I fell off a little bit, and then he fell off a little bit, and he was just one day randomly was like, well, I'm closing the shop, you gotta come get your stuff. And I was like, all right.
Oh,
Shit.
no
That's
way.
so crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck. And then
Damn.
went back home, tattooing at home, tattooing in the kitchen in my trailer.
Tattooing my family in the
Yeah.
kitchen. Like.
Yeah. Did that for a little bit. And then a friend of mine came and got tattooed by me. And he was really cool. And he knew this other guy, this other artist that he was getting work done by. And he kind of like connected us. And that, yeah. So that was the next shop that I worked at. So he basically got me a spot at this next shop. And so then I was working at that shop for a couple years, like 3 years on Fruit Ridge. And it was just like hella ghetto.
Okay.
It was like this old hotel
Oh,
that
really?
they like converted into like office spaces.
Motel.
Kind
No,
of.
hotel.
Okay, motel.
That's
Sorry.
a motel.
Yeah.
Hotel.
So yeah, so we had like a little ghetto shop.
What was that shop called?
Very.
Bearing. Yeah, I mean, it was
okay.
Bear Shop. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
May or might
You
might
guys-
not have to bleep that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like not a big deal, but it's
Yeah.
like whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, it was a big part of your life too. A big
Yeah.
part of your like
I mean,
tattoo
yeah.
journey
And
too.
yeah,
Was
like-
years there.
I was grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
I was so grateful for that experience because like tattooing at home, and I had like major imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm not shit. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be good. Like, you know, like I was never proud to call myself an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
yeah, so
crazy.
like I was just like in that mode.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like how it's gonna go down, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so like whenever I would get like validation from other artists, it was like a big deal to me. So
Mhm.
like when an artist said, "Oh yeah, you can come work at my shop," I was like, "Damn!" Like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm at least good enough to get into a shop.
Mm-hmm.
So then I worked at that shop for a couple years, and we kind of like learned off each other. Like, it was cool. Like we tried to, I don't know, just get the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it kind of
You guys are both learning at the same
yeah,
time.
we were
so,
learning
yeah.
at the same time. We were almost, you know, kind of like at the same level, like slightly different styles, but
Mhm.
we were both trying to do the same thing, so it was
Mhm.
cool. And it was so like low key, like I just had to pay booth rent, and so I was paying like nothing in booth rent.
Mhm.
Like it was so cheap. It was like
Yeah, it wasn't even like stressful.
$400 or
Wasn't it like
$500.
400? Yeah, I remember it being like
For a
so
long time, I
cheap.
think it was like $400.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so like I was making like good money at
Yeah.
like 20, 21.
mhm.
Yeah.
Because I was working like 7 days a week. Like I'd try to work
Yeah.
every fucking day.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big like building, part
Yeah.
of your career, and then the opportunity with Shine, like
Yeah.
that's when
Yeah,
your career really took off in a different way.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I kind of reached. I don't. Yeah, I mean I kind of. Yeah, we'll say
You
like I
reached a
kind of
limit where
reached
you
a
were at.
limit with what I could learn at that shop,
Mm-hmm.
and just felt like it was time to make a change. And Shine and I had each other on Instagram, and we were like here and there, kind of like, oh, dope work. I see what you're doing. Like
Mhm.
really cool. And he said to me one time like, oh, you should work at Iron Monkey with Manny.
You're like,
And
bitch, I want to work in your shop.
yeah. So yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. But that's dope, you know, like.
yeah.
So I went and I talked to Manny, and he was really cool. Like his shop is dope, but I just felt like personally I wasn't ready for that big of a change,
Yeah.
and I was scared,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't go through with it, and I wanted to wait, and also because like I was kind of like, I'm gonna wait until like I'm ready to go work at Shine Shop because
Yeah.
like I
Mhm.
don't want to just take a middle step.
Yeah.
I want to go to
Mhm.
like the next big,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like I need
Yeah.
to make a jump.
Mm-hmm.
And so I waited, and then finally, like, kind of, I just asked Shine. I was like, hey, I'm ready to take the next step. Like, do you got a spot open at your shop?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, yeah, we can meet up and talk about it. And I was like, oh, shit.
Mhm.
Like, so, yeah.
Like shit in your pants.
Oh, shit in my pants.
Dude, I know that feeling.
Yeah. I was like, oh, fuck.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
so crazy that you get to like
I have a
start
different
off
experience.
here.
I had
Yeah.
well, I was shitting my pants when I first asked Shine for the job because I was just
Yeah.
Jess's friend. So
Yeah.
I have that, yeah,
Yeah.
in a way, yeah, but it wasn't when it came to tattooing.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to what we were saying.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I just, yeah, I mean, and then I went and met up with Shine, and he was getting tattooed that day.
I
So
see
he
you,
was
right?
like, yeah, so he was getting tattooed by CO. So I go in for my like little interview, and I'm already crushing on him. Like I'm already crushing
So
on
it
him
makes
hard.
you even more
Yeah,
nervous.
so I was literally, and like I was way more shy than I am now, like insanely shy. So I was just like, I was a mess. Like I remember the drive there. I was just like fuck, like sweating, like
Mhm.
shaking.
Mhm.
And so whatever. I get into the shop, and then we do like a little mini interview, and he's all getting tattooed with his shirt off and shit. And I was just like,
You're like, God damn it.
oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. In a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know you were.
She was in a relationship. I was.
That's
It's
crazy.
fucked up, but yeah. Whatever. So yeah, whatever. I don't know. I got it. You know, like it went good. He saw potential in me, and we weren't like starting out like, oh, like I'm into you. Like,
Yeah,
it was
a
not
little
like that.
bit
Like
for months.
I, you know, like on my side, yeah, I was crushing, but like
Yeah.
we were very professional about it,
Mhm.
and like I was just like I was so grateful for the opportunity to like
You
grow.
didn't want to like
because-
overstep any boundaries.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
I was not putting it on like that. Like I was. Oh, he thought I hated him for like the first
Yeah.
6
she was
months.
so shy
Because
then.
you can't
so
read me.
You can't read her. Like she's got an emotionless
That's how I
face
felt
sometimes.
around you guys at first. I
Yeah.
was like, they probably think I'm like a bitch because
No.
I just don't know what to
Oh.
say.
No,
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you were so friendly the first time I met you. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know why you would
Dude.
think that.
I
Yeah,
was shitting my pants.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
No, I
yeah,
know.
and every day, Jessica, because we lived together at the time, and she would come home and just be like, "I'm planting seeds," and then we'd like do a little thing, like we're like packing the soil, and we're like and
Yeah.
watering it, and it's
Because I'd be like, yeah, because I
planting
One day.
seeds.
because like, yeah, I knew I was like, we're
Yeah.
gonna do something.
Yeah,
like
and she
Shine
was
and I are
single
gonna do
then by
something.
then, and it was like,
Yeah.
all right,
Because I was already in like the end of my relationship because I
Yeah.
was like already done, like
yeah, yeah,
whatever, you know. So ended that, and then I
Yeah.
was like, I know that Shine and I have something. Like there's gonna
Mhm.
be something there. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, let me just,
Yeah,
you
she
know, plant the seed a little bit, like whatever. But so yeah,
Said,
so I was-
sprinkle.
yeah. No, it's
water it. I was like, so yeah, it's cool. But so then I just like I was able to learn so much though in that first couple of years at Shine's old shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just crazy. It was like I don't know. It just like when you come into like an environment like that where everybody is like wanting to grow as much as
Mhm.
you are and like but they know more.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like the perfect environment for me to just like soak it all up. And I
Mhm.
was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like whatever you tell me, I'm gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
There's so many nights though, like she would come home just like stressed out. Like today
Yeah.
was a horrible day. Like
Yeah.
at the time you had to design the day of, talk to your client that day. You
Mhm.
didn't get to reach out before,
Mhm.
and you had to do it all that morning, and you would just have like panic attacks
Yeah.
like every day in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, when they ask you about like starting tattooing and stuff, they don't recognize the like emotional roller coaster
If you
that
care,
you go on.
if you care about what you're doing,
Because I know there's
yeah.
a lot of artists out there that are just like, oh, like tattooing's all fun. Like I don't have
Yeah.
any stress, and I'm like, it could be so stressful when you care. Like
Yeah.
one little mistake, or you
Mhm.
know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
one
And you
thing could
tear
just
yourself
fuck up
down.
your entire
Yeah.
week.
More than
Like,
anyone could tear yourself down, you tear yourself down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially when you're like a perfectionist.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
you're your own worst critic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
great.
how you grow. It's how you
Yeah.
become a better artist and better person, like in all ways. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
just you got to be hard on yourself to
Yeah.
get where you want to go.
Yeah.
But
But just so many nights of being like fucking
Yeah.
angry.
yeah.
Mhm. No,
Yeah.
I'd be crying.
Yeah.
Like I would have when even like a year ago, I'd be like talking to a client. They don't like what I did,
Mhm.
like the mock up of the design. And I'm like, all right, I'll go make the changes. But then I'd go into the bathroom and cry.
Mhm.
It's just like it's so rough.
Yeah.
I've been
I'd
there
be
so
like-
Because you
many
tried so
times.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really like.
And then
Yeah.
you're like, what kind of artist am I? Like, am I
Yeah.
fucking dumb?
Yeah, like,
I'm
art
shit.
is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm just shitty. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just
And
so
people
hard
don't
on
realize,
yourself.
clients don't realize that
like you're
they
putting your heart
don't
into it.
see it. Yeah, they don't see it that
Yeah.
way. They're just like, oh, I want you to do what I want to do, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm trying to. This is my interpretation. This is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm trying every time I'm
Yeah.
sitting down with you and talking with you. I'm
They
trying to
think that
understand.
you just like went through it together, and you're
Yeah.
like, what do you think?
Yeah.
And
about
you're like,
this?
no, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
like.
and they're like, "Oh, can you change like the angle of the face?" And I'm like,
You're like, can you go fuck yourself?
No.
You're like,
no, no.
You're like, I damn near dreamt about this
Yeah.
fucking design.
Yeah.
so-
yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Trust me, I've been
Yeah.
stressing about it for days. So
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
Right.
like that's
Hours.
not just a minor change. That's like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to
No,
change
it's
the
made-
entire composition now.
yeah.
yeah.
And it's
It's
not that
everything.
easy,
It's
but-
really everything. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, can you just do this? It's like,
Yeah,
you
just
can't
change-
just do something with
just change
designing.
the face. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal.
yeah,
I'm like, all right, just give me 4 hours. So.
Yeah.
okay,
So I stayed up all last night
Yeah.
doing this shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was up till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
but-
yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right.
But you want to move on to her
Yeah,
apprenticeship
let's
now?
stop talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Dude, I don't even like know where to start with mine. Cause I'm like, I was the same way, but not super into tattooing at a young age. Like,
Yeah.
I watched.
How did you discover it? Or, like, not discover it, but, like, you know, what really opened your eyes to tattooing?
I guess this sounds so harsh, but like, I guess it was when my brother passed. Like,
Mhm.
cause I grew up drawing, and then like all throughout high school, I pretty much stopped. Which I don't know why. Like, I would doodle and shit, but I wouldn't like create like full on pieces. Like, actually like sit there and draw for hours, you know. But yeah, after he passed, like I had to quit my job. And then I would just sit there and draw and draw and draw.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I kind of want to get tatted. Like,
Mhm.
I never thought I wanted tattoos. And then when I went and got tatted, I was like, damn, like, I kind of want to be an artist.
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, it just clicked. And then my dumbass, I ordered, like, a machine off Amazon. And it came in, like, a million different pieces. And I spent, like, hours on YouTube trying to figure out how to put this coil machine together.
Mhm.
And then I fucking figured it out. And then I sat there and, like, tattooed fake skin for a few days. And then I was like, damn, like, I actually want a tattoo.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
You're like, oh shit, I could do this.
Yeah. So after
Yeah.
that, I was just, like, trying to get an apprenticeship. And then
Yeah. How many did you apply to Hella Shop, or not apply, but like you went around to Hella Shops, like asking them, showing them your portfolio and everything like that?
it sounds so bad because, no, like, I didn't really know anybody in the industry.
Mhm.
Like, I knew the few shops around me. And then I was like, I only really knew, like, one artist that was taking apprentices at the time.
Mhm.
So I just hit him up. And then I felt so almost, like, narrow, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, in the industry, because I just
Yeah.
felt like it was small, but now
Yeah.
it's so big. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I could have really traveled anywhere.
Well, it was just your small town, and you were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is it. This is all
Yeah.
you do.
You
This
only,
is
had,
that
you only
high-
had so
the
many
peak.
resources.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like such a small town, and I was
Yeah.
like, I only really know one artist whose work I like, and like,
Mhm.
you know, I thought his shit was dope, so I was
Mhm.
like, let me just ask him.
Mhm.
And then I went in there so nervous, like, I remember like shaking walking up in there, but I just had to be so confident, you know, because I was
Mhm.
like, if I'm not confident, like, I'm not gonna get this shit.
Yeah.
And I like put a whole portfolio together. Like, I remember I spent like 2 whole weeks, like, and at the time I was doing lashes and working at Mercedes, so
Mhm.
I was working like 60-hour weeks.
Mhm.
And I was just like, I gotta fucking draw somehow.
Mhm.
So I put a whole portfolio together, and then I walked in there and he didn't even ask me for it.
And you're like, God damn, all that work.
Yeah, all that work for what? So he basically, like, right when I walked in there, he was like, so what day do you want to start?
Oh
And I was
my
just like,
God.
Like, oh,
I was
I
like,
got it. Like,
yeah, like, I was like,
thought it was gonna be
'cause
harder.
he kind of like made it seem really hard over like DMs. He was like,
Yeah.
make sure you put your portfolio together. Like, I really want to see your work. So I was nervous, but when I walked in there, it was like a totally different story.
Mhm.
But at the end, I was like, do you want to see some of my art? Like,
Do you
just trying to
even
show
want to
him.
see it?
He's like, yeah, cool, don't care.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, whatever, you're cool.
Yeah.
But like looking back at the stuff I used to draw, I'm like, my shit's so different now because
Mhm.
I just like didn't really have my own style yet. Like, I
Yeah.
was just
You
drawing.
just understand things a lot
Yeah,
better
like
now,
I was
too.
drawing payasas and stuff, but I wasn't really like super into like the Chicano style, I guess.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, and then I started my apprenticeship after like the next week.
Mhm. How did that go? How
Yeah,
was your
let's-
first day? What did you do the first day?
What was the first day like?
So the first day I walked in there and I was like 30 minutes late because they didn't really tell me a time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was already like all bad. They were
Mhm.
like, they didn't say I was late, but they're like, oh yeah, we started at 11. And I was
Like,
like, oh, okay.
oh,
I didn't
fuck.
know.
Mhm.
But it was just me and like the manager of the shop, and then he basically had me like showed me how to set up a station, and you know, just like I was like mopping, sweeping, like cleaning the bathrooms, just like shit like that.
Mhm.
But I was cleaning like every single day, and for the first like 4 months, all I did was get in there at like 9 o'clock and clean for like an hour, and then just sit there and draw. Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't allowed to do anything else.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Like, I didn't start fake skin until probably like 4 months, 5
Mhm.
months. Because it was like picking up a machine was like a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But they told me I was going to have to wait a year, but I was like living on my own. So I was like,
Oh shit.
there's no way. Like, I'm going to make it a year without making money. Like, there's
Mhm.
no fucking way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember like I had to basically quit both of my jobs because I was at the shop like 12 hours a day, like usually like 9 to even later than 9, like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then I could barely do eyelashes. Like, I would take some clients on like a Saturday or a Sunday, but even then I would be like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, I still had to be at the shop on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, just Saturdays. But it was just too much.
What did you do the first time you tattooed?
I did a rose on my ankle.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just got thrown in there.
Yeah, like, it wasn't even, like, a whole setup. Like, you know, structure. Like, okay, we're going to do this one day. And then, like, I'll watch you tattoo. Is pretty much just, like, all right. Like,
you've seen me do it. Now do it.
Now do it.
Yeah, like, would you sit there and watch him tattoo and stuff?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But he never sat with you and, like, said, do it like this or, like...
Like, he came up to me a few times and was like, it'd be better if you pulled a line like this. You know what I mean? But we never sat, like, one-on-one, like how you guys do for hours. It was more just, like, a few minutes, you know? But it was mostly, like, I would go and watch him and then, you know, like, he would maybe, like, say a few things like, I'm using this mag and doing this drop. You know what I mean? But, like, it's, like, how you and Shine will, like, do real quick, but you guys get, like, way more in depth.
Yeah.
But,
and also they know what they're talking about, so it's
if you already know the language, sure, that's easy to understand.
But from somebody, like, on the first day, like, I didn't even really know, like, what a 15 mag was.
Or, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, or, like, a 3-drop. I'm like, okay, I know what a 3-drop is, but I don't know what it's supposed to look
what is
like.
It really?
Yeah. So I was just literally every single tattoo I got booked for, like, at least the first, like, 5 months, every night I was on YouTube, like, how do you do a red rose? Like, how do you do a mandala?
Yeah, like every tattoo you got booked.
Every tattoo. I'm like, just trying to learn the style. Even like with script, like, I'm trying to think of the script artist I looked at, but I was just like constantly on their Instagrams, like looking how they would do it, like the little flicks and shit, and just like studying everything. Cause I felt like I was learning pretty much on my own, you know, and like trying to learn off everybody in the shop. But it was hard.
It's like you had the environment, but you didn't have like the greatest, like,
the mentor. Yeah. Like, I just didn't have like that one.
Not such a hands-on mentor.
Yeah, not a hands-on. Yeah.
But when you were like looking up YouTube videos and stuff, was there like, were you able to find content like that?
I feel like I was, but now from my standpoint on what I know as an artist, I'm like, it's not the totally correct information, you know, especially on how we tattoo here. Because
there's a million different ways to tattoo a rose. There's a million different ways to do things.
Yeah,
so.
But I would say it definitely gave me the basics because, like, I remember the first time I tried to do a realistic rose, like, I looked it up, and it just, like, told me to, like, black out the center parts, you know, like, the darkest parts, and then, like, just go lighter. Yeah. Which, you know, it wasn't bad advice, but...
It's not wrong, but...
it's not totally wrong, but I was like, it made it look better than it would have if I didn't do the research, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I was there probably like almost 10, 11 months. And the first, like, I only tattooed there maybe like 6 months. And I was just doing like little shit every single day. Like towards the end, I started doing like a little bit more full day sessions, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I barely knew how to design. Designing was the hardest part for me. Like, I feel like now I could design better, but oh my God, like, I remember just stressing. I remember the first, like, big arm piece I had to do. Like, I tried to put something together and it was just so bad. But, you know.
Now, you've come a long way with that. Because I even remember when you first started here and you'd ask me, like, what should I do for this? I'm like, shit, I don't know. Like, I'm an apprentice. I don't know shit.
Yeah. But I just remember being, like, so unhappy in my environment because I felt like I was trying so hard to be a good artist. And, like, when you're in an environment where you don't have people that, number one, are super supportive, but also, like, encouraging you to be a better artist or help you be a better artist is so hard to grow. And I know, like, you being at the shop where you feel like you don't have any room to grow, it's, like, it's not a good feeling because it's just...
Because, like, what do you do?
Yeah, like, you know, you have nowhere else to, you know, like, if I would have stayed there, I probably would have gotten better over time, but it probably would have taken me years and years and years to learn what I learned in months. So it's just, it's hard. And then, like, you know, having somebody who's not the nicest person is, like, also a whole nother story in itself. But it's, like, being surrounded by positive people, like, will make your art grow so much faster. So, you know, it's just all about the environment.
Yeah.
But I remember just like being like, I need to leave here like
Yeah.
ASAP. Like
Yeah.
just knowing that it wasn't fit for me anymore. And that's when I hit Jessa up because I was like, I just need to make the next jump,
Mm-hmm.
like the next step. And then
And how'd you find Jessa? How'd you find the shop and everything?
I was following her like since I started,
Mm-hmm.
like right when I started, because I was just like looking at all the girls like in the
Local
area and
or,
shit.
like,
Yeah. And then when I seen her shit, I was like, God damn, like this is what I'm trying to be like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just everything was like so spot on. Like everybody at the shop was dope. And so I just got like started watching all the vlogs, and then when Rich got like the opportunity to come over here,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like tell her I said hi. Like, you know,
Like it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but at the time I was like, damn, that'll never be me.
Yeah.
I remember when he went, I was like, that'll never be me. Like
You're like, that shit happens for other
Seems
people.
so
yeah,
far, yeah.
it seems so far out of reach to
Yeah.
me. And then
And at the time, Rich was on just a different level than you were too. You were still in
Yeah.
the press. You were still taking
Yeah.
on small
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
because like I feel like I was learning off of Rich, and like he was just at such a higher level than I felt, that I was like, it's gonna take me years to get to where he is, because you know it took him years to get to the level he was at. So I was just like, fuck, I got a long way to go, you know. And then when you start tattooing, everybody talks about how long it's gonna take. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like, I remember when I started, like being told by my mentor at the time, like it's gonna take you 5 years to tattoo a payasa. Like he
That's
told me that,
crazy.
and I'm like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
bet. Like,
Yeah.
watch.
Watch me
But
do
like,
it
yeah,
in a
put
year.
a limit on me. Okay.
Yeah.
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 But I feel like also hearing that shit like makes you just want to like go so much harder,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember just like wanting to fucking prove everybody wrong.
Mhm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
getting the hate from the people closest to me, like I was just like, fuck you guys, like I'm about to shit on you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like really trying to take
Yeah.
off. And then when I got the opportunity to come over here, I was like, damn, I'm really about to shit on them. Like, I was like, I'm about to go hard.
Yeah.
But even the guest spot, like I didn't even like realize it was gonna be like me actually working here. I just thought it was gonna be like,
Like it was just a guest spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
I know you like mentioned like, you know, we could see about you working here, but
Yeah.
in my head I was like, that's not even gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, because when she hit me up, it was like the perfect timing, because I was also like thinking about starting a shop and like getting more female artists. I wanted more female artists like in our shop, because at the time I was the only female artist in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I need
that's
some
crazy.
fucking chicks in here.
Now we
dude.
have a whole like group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I need some girls. But yeah, so she hit me up at the perfect time. And I always think that like everything happens when it's supposed to, you know, and like
Yeah.
everything comes in the right time. So like when she
Yeah.
hit me up, I was like, boom, perfect. Like
Mhm.
I didn't even have to go look for it. Like it just came to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, and you seemed cool, and like you had the potential, because like you were already doing good tattoos.
I was asked.
Okay, but you know, like you can look at someone's work and see the potential.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Like, I
like she
knew what was going on.
understands.
Yeah.
She understands
She
the basics,
understands
yeah.
what it's supposed to look like. She
Mhm.
knows what I see what
Yeah.
she's trying to do. So yeah, it was just perfect. And then we had you come in for a guest spot.
Yeah, but I remember I was at the other shop that morning, and I was like arguing with my boss or whatever, and I just remember being like so upset. And then you hit me up and you were like, yeah, I'm actually like looking for, you know, more female artists to be in the shop, if you want to come guest spot. And I was like, bitch. And I went and called my mom, and I was like, you're not gonna fucking believe this, like because she already knew who you were, because I'll talk about you all the time. And I was like, dude, just fucking responded. Like, she was like, oh my God, like you gotta do it,
Aw.
So yeah, when I wasn't gonna tell my boss about it, because he like flipped out when Rich came over here.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, fuck that, like I want to be straightforward, I want to be truthful, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And then I told him, and yeah, sure enough, he flipped out. But like, what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? You know, you gotta do what's best for you. So
Yeah.
it's just like, this is what's gonna make me grow and make me a better artist. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters, because he's not gonna live my life, I'm gonna live
Yeah.
it, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was like the best decision I ever made. But I remember like coming over here for the guest spot, I was like, how you were saying in the car, like shaking and sweating. And then my sister was in the car with me, because I was gonna tattoo her.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, bitch, you're fine. You're doing fine. Like, trying to, like, comfort me. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so scared. And just, like, freaking out. And then I couldn't figure out how to get in the fucking
And the
door.
front door.
And I was like, oh, my God. Like, what else is going to go wrong this morning? Like, and I left my house, like, 2 hours early, even though I live, like, 30 minutes away. Like, at the time, I lived,
You're
like,
just
30
waiting in
minutes
the
away.
parking lot.
Yeah.
I always used to do that for interviews and shit.
And, like, I just remember, like, being so nervous. And then meeting them, it just felt so, like,
I know. I remember
unreal.
you coming to the front desk, and I was like, "Oh, are you the guest artist?" And you're like,
Yeah.
It's like, let me take you to the back. Like,
Yeah.
it was just,
Oh shit.
yeah.
But it was just dope. Like, I feel like I fit in, like, right away.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't expecting, like, them to ask me to work here at all. Like, after I was done, like, I was just like, all right, like, I'm gonna head out, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they asked me, and I was like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
because I just thought I was gonna have to, like, go find another shop, like, in my small little town.
Yeah.
At the time, I was just like, my career felt like on not a hold, but I was just like kind of lost because I was like, what the fuck's about to happen, you know?
Mhm.
And it's
Just
like,
unsure.
yeah, and then like living on your own, like that's the worst feeling because you're like, how the fuck am I gonna pay my bills, you
Yeah,
know? So
yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just like, I felt so fucking like blessed, and then especially to be in a better opportunity, I was just like, damn,
Mhm.
like that's crazy.
And as soon as you started, we felt like we all clicked
Yeah.
so quick. Like,
we were like,
we
oh,
were always
shit,
talking
yeah.
about wanting another girl
Yeah.
here, and like it was just like perfect timing, dude. Just everything, and immediately, like the first week,
Yeah.
I feel like we were all just like talking so much,
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
how
well,
it
I
is
just
sometimes,
felt
our
way too
personalities match.
comfortable around you guys
I
way
know.
too fast.
I know,
Like,
I know. Me too.
She's
She's
the
like, well,
best.
here's my whole
Like,
life
I'm telling
story.
you all my business the first
No,
week. I'm like,
yeah.
damn.
But then, and then we clicked like hella on like, because how you grew up, similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have similar relationships to our parents.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah.
I remember like the first time I told you guys like, yeah, like this is my relationship with my dad, and like,
Mm-hmm. I
I'll
was
be
like,
like,
bitch, me
oh my
too.
god,
Yeah.
that sounds just like Jess's
yeah,
dad.
and then I was like, and then
exactly
like
the
this
same.
is how it is with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
damn, me too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, yeah, we had hella shit in common.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just clicked.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then my apprenticeship.
And this
Well,
bitch.
yeah, I know. I'm like, I got it easy breezy.
Sorry
baby.
guys, I feel like mine was hella long.
No, not at all. I've been dreading talking about me this whole time. But yeah, my apprenticeship. Well, I wasn't.
I
even
mean, start from like,
what I was doing.
yeah,
Girl,
yeah,
like,
start, yeah.
I worked like a ton of different jobs. Not like I tried a million different things to try to figure out what was right for me and what just what was I supposed to do in life. Like I wanted a passion so bad. I wanted something I could do myself. But I started out, I was working as a teenager for my stepdad's company, like just going to parks, closing up gates, like closing up the bathrooms, like doing random things like that, doing trash. And then I started right after high school before I even graduated, working at Jack in the Box, like just like, all right, I want to get money. I wanted to work as soon as possible, and I wanted to go to college. And that's what they tell you need to do. They tell you need to go to college. Working in a trade isn't the way to go, and you're not going to make any money in it, or you'll never be successful. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to college, I guess. Like, I don't know. I even went and did my assessments. All I had to do was meet with a counselor and get signed up for college, and I just didn't. I just wanted to make money. Like that's all I was thinking about. Like, how can I be successful on my own? But I started working, and then I got a job at a warehouse, and I ended up staying there for like 4 years, like almost 5 years, at like a coffee warehouse, just doing all types of jobs in there. But I was just miserable. Like I always say this, but it was like soul crushing work. Like you go in, you clock in, and you just cannot wait for the day to be over, and then you get off and you just go home, and you're like, well, I'm just waiting for the next day to start. Like it just was that part of my life, I barely even remember anything because I was just doing, it was so repetitive. I didn't go on vacations. I never wanted to take time off. I worked like 6 days a week, sometimes 12-hour days all the time. Like, and it just wasn't anything fun. It wasn't anything I was interested in. And my family would just be like, oh, just stay there, because they would offer these big bonuses and things like that. And like, no other job is going to offer you that. And so I just was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is
The most secure.
I'll ever be, even though I wasn't making shit. Like, I was barely making enough to pay my bills every month. And yeah, it was just, like I said, soul crushing. But
Do you
then,
feel like you were like judged for not going to college and like following like the traditional like?
Yeah, I know my family, I think, wanted me to, but then they understood too. Like my family is just like, my mom has been at her job 20 years. Like they're really just like, you stick to I don't know, you stay loyal to the company. You stay like, you do what you got to do. And they weren't super, my mom didn't go to college. Like my family didn't go to college. So it wasn't really like that. But but I felt like that was what I had to do. That's the only way to be successful is to just.
Well, I feel like that's what they
get an
make it seem
education.
like now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's like
I remember-
not true at all.
Yeah, I remember presentations in class where they would bring people in and be like,
Yeah.
"Don't do a trade. You have to go to a 4-year. A 4 year is the only way to
Doesn't even make sense.
which is like so the opposite now. Like
Yeah.
most people that get a bachelor's like are working at Starbucks still. Like they don't
Yeah.
they
It's
they
like
make more money
don't
there than they do
They
in
can't
their,
even find a job.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And then they're like $200,000.
yeah,
in
and they
debt.
make a trade seem like it's the devil's work.
Yeah.
you can't ever be successful doing something like that. But yeah, so I at the time in high school I started baking, and I baked through I remember I baked through a whole cookbook, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fun. And I would do things for my family. Sometimes they wouldn't turn out good, sometimes they were, but I was just like trying to learn something, and I started doing that. I liked it, got good feedback from it, so I would do it on the side while I worked, but I would just like always talk about like, oh, I want to bake, but I wouldn't do it. And then I slowly, like, I had friends start buying things from me, buying like desserts and cakes or whatever. And so I would do that, but I just still had so much like doubt in myself that I could do anything.
Well, and like you were scared even to
scared.
like admit that you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I felt so much shame for some reason. Like
Yeah.
I felt like everyone was gonna make fun of me. My family's they're supportive, but they're also, I don't know. Like I would do something and it would be like, oh well, it tastes, it's okay, but honestly, you could do this, you could do that,
Yeah.
and so it would just send me even more into like a shame
Well, like
spiral.
even like the more play it safe type of
play it safe.
attitude. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
if you put yourself out there, you're gonna fail.
Yeah,
Why would
yeah,
you
you're
do
gonna
that?
get judged. You're gonna get
Mhm.
like, you're gonna get hurt, and I understand from their perspective, like you're trying to protect me in a way. I was the youngest
Mhm.
too, like you're trying to protect me, so I get that. And then also I was in a relationship where like I didn't have any support in that. Like he literally would go. I remember when I told him I wanted to bake, and he's like, "Gay," and I was like, "Damn!" Like I said,
What the
that
fuck?
shit hurts.
I feel
All
like
right.
Like, and I'll
it's crazy
forever
'cause
remember
I
that.
feel like, yeah, you'll always remember that, and then
Yeah.
I feel like men can like totally tear
Yeah.
you down in like 2 words, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, all
One
you had to
word.
say was
yeah,
gay.
one word, one word,
And you had to say it in that tone of voice.
Yeah.
Gay.
yeah.
But it's like, and like he probably didn't know that
No.
you were like serious.
No.
But still,
But like
it's
you said, it's
dude,
like
don't-
soul crushing.
Yeah, you're
It was like-
okay, you just fucking affirmed that
Yeah.
like this is
Like
a
my
stupid
family,
decision.
yeah,
Yeah.
my family doesn't support me, and not that they were like, you can't do it, but yeah, like I said, they play it safe, and they're just like, well,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want you to get hurt, I don't want you to like, not succeed or whatever, and even without them trying, they were doing that, but yeah, so just like him saying that too, just like would send me down this like, "Oh, I can't do it, like it's stupid, like no one's gonna like it," and I was just beating myself up, and I just had no confidence growing up, like just zero self-esteem, nothing. So it wasn't until I got around, and me and Jessa had been friends since we were young, like we'd known each other so long, and it wasn't really until Shine got around the shop that I started coming around too, and they would support me in ways like, oh yeah, like that's awesome, like, oh, you bake, you do this, and I'm like, whoa, like this is so different. Like I haven't had anybody try to support any of the things I wanted to do, and I still would feel embarrassed about doing it. But and then there was this one time we were over at I was with Shine, Jessa, and Shine's mentor Jason and his wife. They had us over for dinner, and we're talking about things, and Jason said, what do you want to do? What is it? Like, what are you trying to do with this? And I broke down, like, just fully in tears, like, out of nowhere, just, like, started crying. And him and his wife just hugged me, and they, like, dude, I get emotional about it. They hugged me, and they just tell me. Dude, I was not expecting this shit. I'm such a crybaby.
I'm about to start crying.
No,
they hugged me, and they're like,
it's real.
See,
you can
Charlie's
do it,
eyes
yeah.
water is just like,
God.
like,
I know. But yeah, they hug me and they're like, you can do anything. I feel embarrassed fucking crying, dude.
It's okay. It's
Crying on the
okay.
goddamn podcast in front of Ray.
Our first episode, we're crying.
First episode. I'm crying, but
No, it's good.
they're like, you can do it, and they're literally hugging me, like, and
Yeah.
they have their arms around me.
No, because they're such like
Yeah.
the kindest
Yeah.
people,
God.
and he's a god. Like Jason is like a godly man,
God-fearing,
like,
yeah.
and just like the warmest,
Yeah.
most loving person I know.
Yeah.
And so when he comes to you, and it's just
Yeah.
like one on one,
Yeah.
like, what do you need? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is preventing you from doing what you need to do? That'll hit you. So
it hit me.
Yeah.
It definitely hit me. And then, like, I was just like, God damn. Like, I'd barely even been around Shine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm over here crying my eyes out in front of these people I don't even know. And I was not even like that. Like, I was an emotional person, but I didn't cry around. I didn't express my emotions or anything like that.
She would play it hard, too.
Yeah.
She would try to act all heartless and shit.
Yeah, like, I don't care.
I was
like,
I know
whatever.
you're fucking soft,
I'm
bitch.
soft as shit. Like, I cry all the time.
Just so it was like,
Yeah, she's like, bitch.
Yeah.
So I just started breaking down. They held me there, like, you can do anything. Like, they just built me up in that moment.
No, yeah, literally, like, embracing you. And, like...
And it's crazy because, like, bakers, like, go so far.
They do.
Yeah.
No, and
like,
I would watch these people,
like,
and I'm like, I want to do that one. Like, be
insane
that
careers
good. I
off
want
of
to,
it.
like... there was just a few bakers I would watch, and I was just be like, oh my God, I could do that. I could do that. And, but yeah, they really built me up. And then after that, I started like really, I was like, oh, I can do this. And they're like I had an Instagram for like 3 years that I would post things on, and I wouldn't tell anybody that I was doing it. And then after that day, they're like, no, like, let me follow you. Like, we're going to post you. We're going to do this. Like, you need to post yourself on your main account. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, just putting on to hell a game about like marketing and like everything, like how I can do it. And so I started doing that, and I did love it, but it got to a point too where I just was, like, clients fuck you over so many times, and I wasn't taking deposits, I wasn't doing certain things, and I was letting, like, I don't know, and it's really hard on your body, honestly. Like, you're standing for so long baking, doing all this shit, like, it's last minute, it's stressful as fuck. Wait, are you about to say that?
You'd undersell yourself.
I'd undersell myself a lot. Yeah. And like, shit that I was getting good, and I was like, I could have charged so much money for this shit, and I was losing money.
No, she's literally losing money, making these cakes, staying up all night, all day, like, trying to get this shit done for people just to charge them $40.
Yeah, and working a full-time job on top of that. So it was like, and I didn't have a job for a while, and I was just trying to do that, and it just wasn't working because I was, again, underselling myself. So, yeah, then when I got another job, I was like getting up at 5 a.m, working all day, and I was doing property maintenance. I was driving around in a truck to these different properties, and I was cleaning up trash, like throwing it in the back of my truck, cleaning up needles from homeless people, like, dude, like, doing all kinds of shit. And then I would get off and just immediately start baking and, like, just do that all night long, and then till the next day. And then I just got burnt out on it, and I was like, I don't know. And I was just like, is this even what I want? And I just was going through, like, such a crisis. But then
but I feel like when you do almost like too much of something, and like you were saying, like, this is what happened to me with eyelashes too. Like, when clients fuck you over so many times and you're underselling yourself, like, you lose passion for it.
Lose passion,
and it becomes something that you literally hate to do. Like,
that's how I was starting to feel. And like, everybody in my family would be like, oh, make a cake for this, make a cake for that. And I'm like doing this shit, and I'm like, I don't even want to do this. I hate the pressure of it. I hate the, like, I don't want to stay up all night doing this, like,
for such little return. Just, like,
it felt good. I liked when everybody liked my shit, but, like, still, I'd always get those comments from my family, like, well, you get it.
Like,
it was a little too dry, or a little too maybe kind of sweet. And I'm like, well,
you're like,
fuck yourself.
The cake, I'm not making it at all.
Go to Rayleigh's, bitch. But yeah, so then it was during COVID. I was still working at that job, and I was like, Jessica got home one day, and I was like, I think I mentioned, like, working at the shop, or I said something, and you were kind of like, shit, like, ask Shine, like, I can't ask him, you gotta ask him yourself. Like,
I was very, like, adamant about, like, it has to come from you, because it can't come from me, like, telling Shine, because now Shine and I are together, and so, like, I can't be like, oh, my homegirl wants to work here.
He's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck.
Like, okay. So, I was, like, super, like, you gotta ask for it.
So, I remember one day at the shop, we were hanging out, and I got hella dressed up.
She got all done up. She came in. Was I tattooing somebody else that day?
Carly was there, I remember. I think you were tattooing Carly, and then...
So she waited there.
Waited till the client left, and then I was, like, just building it up, like, oh my God. And then even in that conversation, Shine, before I'd asked, Shine was, like, talking about, like, man, what job can we get you, Charlie? Because I was miserable at my job. Like, he's like, what, like, baking job, or, like, blah, 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 can we get you? And he's like, I know so many people. And I was like, I just was like, fuck. And then, like, he went to the back, and I was like, so, I think I said, so, Mr. Shine. Like, and I, like, walked up, and I just started, like, saying, like, I have a back, like, I wanted to ask you for a job because I knew we needed a booking person at the moment, or, like, just a front desker. We had just lost both of them, and, like, just some shit. And I was like, all right, like, you know, this is it. I know I could do this. I have a background in data entry, like, and all these things. Like, this is literally what I would do at my old job. And I was like, fuck it, like, I can do this shit. And yeah, so I asked him, and you know, he's like, yeah, I mean, we could try it out. Like, I'm not saying you for sure have the job, but like, we can definitely test it out. So then after that, I was basically, it was kind of like an apprenticeship for the job. Like, I was coming in, I was cleaning every morning after the artist, like doing trash, like not every morning, but like whenever his mom needed me to come in there and clean, I was doing it. Yeah, just like showing up, and then I started booking for them. I went like 8 months unpaid just to prove that I could, that I wanted the job.
During the pandemic.
Yeah. Just to prove that like I wanted it. And so yeah, like to me, I'm like, that was an apprenticeship in a way, just to get to be around these people. And it was hard. Like, it was fucking hard. I was broke as shit. Like, I was miserable. But I was like, I know it's going to pay off. Like, I would just tell my family, like, this is going to pay off. And they're like, why are you doing this unpaid? And I'm like, it's going to pay off. Like, you guys don't get it. Like, and I was just so, like, set on that, like, it is going to pay off. I'm going to get where I want to get. And then we got into here, and then it was like, yeah, like, oh my God, I love it. Like, it felt like things were falling into place. And I was, but I still wanted that thing that was like mine. Like, I was doing it myself. Like, I didn't work for anybody. I was like, I just wanted that still. So I was trying to figure out like what was right for me. I didn't feel a passion for booking. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It just wasn't something I really wanted to do. And so I was trying out lashes. Like, I was, for like a year, I would spend like thousands of dollars, like building up this collection of stuff so I can lash. And like, I'd just be like, wait, I can't wait till I'm gonna start lashing. And at the time, I was going to move to Seattle to live with my boyfriend lives out there. So I was going to move out there. And I was like planning this whole life. And then last summer, me and Jessa, like, well, should I say what at the brunch when it happened? Yeah. So like we had this brunch of all these like tattoo ladies in SAC. And I was like when you first started.
Yeah, this was like my first outing with them too.
Yeah, so now our timelines are matching up.
Yeah. Our timelines are all matching up. She had just started, and I was just getting to know Bella at that brunch, and I was planning on leaving, whatever. And then when me and Jessa went to the bathroom.
And also, just to like preface, like I was now at this point in my career where I was like, okay, I feel finally ready to take an apprentice on. Yeah. Because before that, I was not ready. I knew that. Yeah. Like, I wasn't ready to take someone on.
Yeah. But I remember like we were talking. Then we went to the bathroom. We're standing in line, and we just started talking. And started the night before. I was watching you teach Tyrese, the apprentice at the time, to tattoo something, and in my head I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this shit.
And it had never crossed our mind before that.
Yeah.
Because it was always like, well, I tattoo. Yeah. Charlie does the booking. Yeah. And she's not interested in tattooing.
Yeah. And what it was is I didn't think I could. Yeah. It wasn't well,
because I feel like everybody makes it seem like you have to be like this artist.
Amazing artist. Yeah. And she was an artist her whole life, and I saw her grow up and love tattooing always, and I was like, oh, well, that's not me. Like, I didn't grow up like drawing, and I would draw, but I was embarrassed of everything, and actually the only time I ever had anybody give me positive feedback on my drawings was from a tattoo artist, like a family friend. And I showed him a picture I drew of our dog, and he was like, wow, like, this is so amazing. And I'd never had anybody do that for me. And so yeah, it's just so funny how like all that comes together. But we went to the bathroom, and she was like, you know, the apprenticeship's yours if you want it. Like, were talking kind of about whatever, and I'm like, I feel like, I don't know, I think it said something like, I could do this shit. Like, we were kind of hinting at it.
We were playing with it. We were like joking, like, you know, I don't know, just kind of like threw it out there. Yeah. And she's like, because I was also like considering taking on this other girl as an apprentice, and like it just wasn't gonna. I don't know. It just wasn't feeling right. So then when she kind of like played it, like threw it out there a little bit, I was like, well, if it's yours, if you want it. Yeah. Because also the night before. Because, we had that moment where I was showing Tyrese something on whatever. And we just kind of like, I think you mentioned it that day too. Yeah. You were like, oh, like, why am I not tattooing? Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, why are you not tattooing?
I remember you looked at me like while you were like, you gave me a look.
Like, okay, bitch.
And then that's when, the whole ride home, I was like, I can do this. I think when I move out to Seattle still, I'm like, I'm just going to start tattooing. Like, fuck it. Like, whatever. Like, I know a lot just from in general from being around everybody. Obviously, nothing compared to what I know now. But, like.
You didn't know, like, the technical side.
Yeah.
But you knew, like, what we were talking about when we were talking about lining versus shading and, like, some general things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so, like, that night. But I went to bed that night thinking, like, oh, Charlie needs to apprentice.
Yeah.
Like, she needs to do this now. Like, I feel like it's right now.
Yeah, and you're already in the environment.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, why not?
Yeah. Like, why have we, like, why have we not done this already?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, there was the next day at brunch,
Yeah.
And I remember being at the brunch, and then you're like, yeah, like, I'm leaving to Seattle. Like, you were, like, saying it, and I was like, you're not leaving.
Yeah,
like, I don't want you to leave.
I know. I remember saying, like, no, I just got to know you. And we were hella clicking. And like, no.
And I remember just feeling so comfortable around you that I was like, you can't leave. Like, I'm going to have a fucking panic attack.
But, you know, things happen. And literally, like, my boyfriend was here on that trip. And so he was like, I called him immediately when I left the brunch. I was like, I got, like, Jess offered the apprenticeship. Like, she said, blah, 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 I could do it. And he was just like, you have to do it. Yeah. He was like, you have to. Like, there's no opportunity or career that is even going to touch what this is. And I know you've been wanting something for yourself for so long. Like, you have to do it. Like, and even though we had all these plans for me to move and, like, start a life there, meet a lash and go to esthetician school and do all these things, it was just like, in that weekend, it was like, oh no, like, this is what I have to do. And I knew immediately when you offered it that I was staying and I wasn't going. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Because it just was like, things were falling into place.
It seemed so perfect. And it was
perfect,
just like, why, duh. Like, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And so ever since then it was just like I feel like my life is like finally lining up how it's supposed to, and like things are just like, even though the apprenticeship feels so long, it's like, man, I can't wait to tattoo, but it's like, oh, I'm getting there now. Like it's all
but
this
look
whole
at that
last
now,
year.
it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
And like you've already made so much progress.
Even though I hate my work every time I see it.
That will never go away.
It will never go away.
It will never go away.
Yeah, but you're tripping because, dude, if you would have seen the shit I did on fake skin, it was like tookie.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's being in this environment too. It's like having expectations of myself. And that's how I've always been when I approach things. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
We're all so critical.
Yeah, so critical. I'm like, I just want to be good. Like, I don't want anybody to be able to say anything about what I'm doing, like technically, and that's with baking, that's with lashing, everything. Yeah. So I wanted to always be as good as I can get.
Well, yeah, perfectionist.
Perfectionist, yeah.
And like, not to hate on any lash artist or anything, but I feel like I'm so glad that you chose tattooing instead, because it's just like being a lash artist, like personally, because we're such creative people, I began to feel so like, you know, in a
limited.
box.
Limited.
And like I feel like so over time you probably would have felt the same way.
Yeah.
It's like almost every lash tech is like wanting to do other things because they're bored.
And I didn't see myself as creative for a long time.
But you are.
I did not think I was that way.
You definitely are.
Baking somewhat, it was like I was dabbling. I was like dabbling in things, and now I'm like, oh, I'm able to use my mind in all different kinds of ways creatively that I didn't even realize. Like, even when it comes to this stuff, like marketing and like all that, it's just fun. And it's like, oh, I don't know, you get inspiration from other things and you just use it in your own way. But yeah, that's pretty much like how we got to where we are now. I'm still an apprentice, but yeah, I'm gonna be tattooing soon within the next month or two. And it's like, that's whole another thing. It's like, you guys, everyone's going to get to see this like change too in me. Like, whoa, like actually tattooing. And I've always seen your guys' perspective. Like, from the artist, I always know your guys' like complaints and your like, you know, the issues you have with clients. And I'm like, I'm prepared in a lot of ways, but I know it's going to be hard too. Yeah. It's going to be difficult to adjust to that and to just real skin. Like, I've been tattooing on fake skin only. So yeah.
I was just telling Gabby, like, it's so cool watching you go through your apprenticeship, because I feel like I was just there, like, literally a few months ago. Like, even though it's been, like, a year and a half, like, wait, no.
How long has it been?
You've been working here a year. In July.
So I guess a year. Yeah, it's been, like, a year. I feel like it just happened. So I feel like I literally was just doing the same shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. And then, just, like, my apprenticeship is so different from everybody's. I didn't have to scrub tubes or like do whatever, and I still had to do trash, still had to do all these things. Like I break down and set up every day for Shine and Jessa. There's certain little things, but it's just like, and also it's like a respect because we've been friends for so long. You don't just shit on me just because it's like the old school.
Everybody thinks that like apprenticeships are supposed to be like, oh, you're the shop bitch now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah,
To
that's
an
how I
extent.
felt.
Yeah. To an extent,
To an
yeah.
extent,
Like,
yes.
I'm a bitch.
But that doesn't mean that the apprentice needs to be disrespected and like treated like shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, even if even if you were like a stranger to me, I'm not gonna treat you like shit.
Mhm.
But I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
okay, the least you could do is like break down for
Yeah.
me and
Yeah.
like.
But I
set
feel
up.
like the type of person you are, like you wouldn't even have like that capability of doing that to somebody.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
And
do
it's like some people are just like born like
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
Like,
but
yeah.
also like those old school dudes. They're like, oh, you gotta earn your fucking
Yeah.
right to
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
how to tattoo. Like, I'm not just
So-
gonna hand
yeah.
it to you. Like, you need to
Yeah.
do like, go grab my coffee.
Yeah.
Go get
Yeah.
me lunch. Like,
And I
yeah,
feel like
that's the shit I did every
yeah.
single
I
day.
haven't heard of, and this is like on the topic we wanted to talk about women in the industry.
yeah,
I haven't heard of a lot of women treating their apprentices that way. Like,
it's
Yeah.
never. I
it's
mean,
not
I'll-
really a
always-
topic of conversation.
Okay, not always, but
I
it's
won't
always.
say always.
most of the
Yeah.
time the men.
Yeah.
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 And
It's
like when I first started at the shop I apprenticed at, like I was the only girl in the shop.
Mhm.
So it was
Mhm.
just like right away I was just like basically like the bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
just off the
Mhm.
bat.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
not being respected like from
Yeah.
off the bat. Like I would say like in the way of tattooing and then like in the way of being like sexualized and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So it was just like it sucked being the only girl.
Yeah.
Like when other girls started coming in the shop, it made me feel more comfortable, but it was still like I was the apprentice, so like I was treated completely different. Even I was treated completely different even from the male apprentices there. Like
Mhm.
they weren't expected to clean. I was expected to clean. Like they weren't expected to come in at a certain time. I was expected to be there
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
Like they could leave whenever they wanted. I had to stay there until
It's almost like they're trying
he
to
was
break
finished.
you.
Yeah.
And it's
That
like,
is, yeah.
it's
yeah.
just,
And like I feel like not only in the tattoo industry, but so many other
Mhm.
careers, like they just
Yeah.
want to do that to the woman because it's
Yeah.
like
mhm.
they know we're emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They know
it's
you'll
like,
give in,
well,
you'll,
she's
like,
gonna
say-
do
yeah,
it.
you'll
Like
do
if
it.
I say
Yeah.
to do this,
Sometimes
she's gonna
they're
do
not
it.
even, I feel like they're not even aware that they're doing
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's like that's just how they were raised to
Yeah.
treat women, and like that's how
Yeah.
they were raised in their household.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
like that's how they automatically think.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
then-
when egos take over, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, especially like for men that are old school in tattooing
mhm.
and then they get their own shop and they're like, okay, I'm big dog now.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You're going to do whatever the fuck I
Yeah.
say.
You're all less than me. You don't have a shop.
Yeah,
Like, you're
like-
here working for me. Like,
Yeah, like, oh, you want to learn the secrets? Do whatever the
Mhm.
fuck I say
mm-hmm.
and maybe
Yeah,
I'll
it's that
teach you.
ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, yeah, most everybody here had an issue with that. Like,
Yeah.
almost everybody, like every one of these guys here had people treat them that way in their
Yeah.
apprenticeship and take advantage of them and do all these, just be shitty.
I feel like it's just the time,
Yeah,
like the timing of the industry too, because
Mhm.
like we still have those old school people, but
Yeah.
now we're getting those new school that are like, I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to be treated like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I feel like the people that are old school, they get very like competitive. Like let's say their apprentice starts to like pass them up in ways
Mhm.
or they become like more popular and stuff like that.
instead of
They-
just showing love, you
yeah,
gotta shit
instead
on
of
'em.
showing love, they take it so personal
Mhm.
and to heart. Like, oh, I can't stand it.
And
like,
you
they
think
get
you
so
want that,
angry.
like, oh, this person I showed everything to and they're flourishing, like they're
Yeah.
doing so good. Why? I don't know. Just like, why wouldn't you be happy
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them?
But there's two sides to it. It's
Yeah.
like the people that do that, they start doing well, but they act like they just did it on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like I could see where people get frustrated with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's like the people that start doing well and they still give the respect to their mentor
Yeah.
that like, okay, you
Mhm.
brought me here or you helped me get here.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know,
There's a
give
fine
them
line.
that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it's hard. It's different for like
Yeah.
everybody, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like in this industry, like there's so many emotions that it's like people are constantly getting their feelings hurt, and it's
Mhm.
just like everybody's situation is different, so it's just like hard to be like, this is this and this is that because
Yeah.
everybody's situation is different. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and then that's why I wanted everybody's perspective too. Like we all have completely different. You've been tattooing over 10 years. You're pretty new to tattooing, but you're established. And then me, I'm completely new and not even tattooing it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
completely different times, completely different mentors, everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we work too. Like we've been friends so long, and like
Yeah.
a lot of times, well, you're a certain way too, and it's like there's only a certain type of person you can take on and
Yeah.
and really want to give somebody that like
Yeah.
you're giving
I'm
someone
giving
a
you a lot.
gift.
Yeah.
That's why I always say I'm like I'm forever indebted to you because you're teaching me this thing that's going to change my life and already has changed my life in so many ways. But yeah, like you're giving me your knowledge of all these years without payment, you know?
Mhm.
and I feel like since you guys have been friends for so long, you guys feel so like comfortable being so brutally honest with
Yeah,
each other.
we're in tune
Yeah,
with
yeah.
each other.
And
yeah.
I feel like that's what like a mentor and an apprentice needs, is like just that safety to feel comfortable to talk
Yeah.
to each other. Because even like with Jessa being my mentor now, it's like I feel so comfortable even like texting her in the middle of the night and being like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I can't fucking do this shit. Like, and she's like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, it's
we'll
okay.
do it in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just like giving me that like security blanket that I needed, because like, you know, feeling
You're not
so
just on your own.
Yeah, feeling so uncomfortable on your own like sucks, and just not being able to like text your mentor and being like, I need help, or even in person feeling that like security to be like, you know, I need help on this. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like not having that is just stressful as fuck.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I know we wanted to get into like why we're podcasting too. Like if you're already established in your career, we're like, this is what I want to do too. But like, what's the point of podcasting if you already have this? But from your perspective, like, why did you want to get into it?
Just like, I've always been like, I don't want to just have one thing.
Yeah.
So I've always been like looking for like, what else can I do? Like, I don't want just one stream of income. Not that the podcasting is for income, but like I like having passion projects. I don't want to just have one thing that I'm working on. I'm like, I love, I don't know, I just love like creating. I love like having things to work on. So Charlie and I always like played with the idea of having a podcast, or like we wanted to vlog. We tried vlogging, like dumb shit like that. But
and for years, like since 2019, probably, like we've been trying to do something. We wanted to, but we didn't feel comfortable vlogging a lot of times, and just with confidence levels too. Like who we are now is completely different. But
so I mean, and then like just like the timing with everybody, like all of us becoming friends and like getting closer and like comfortable with each other, it just seemed like, oh, like maybe we could do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a good outlet just for us to like express ourselves. Because we have so much shit to talk about.
And there's only so much that can be said on social media. Like sometimes people think they know you, and then you really see this other side, and they're like, oh, or they meet you in general, and they're like, oh, I thought you were this completely different way on social media. And so this is like, you really get to see everyone's personality. And I know, Jess, that people have always wanted that too for you. Like, she's like, I want to see this other side of her, blah, blah, blah. But, and then vlogging, but you can do that. But for us, it was forced. Like, we were trying to force it. We were trying to like find things always to do. And we're normal people, like just going home, like, going to work. Like,
I felt like,
Go ahead.
I feel like I get that a lot too, like especially like a lot of like guy clients are like, you know, I just didn't know what type of person you were gonna be. Like I felt kind of weird like booking an appointment, and I feel like this gives us like the opportunity to show like, you know, we're not just some like weird stuck up like Instagram bitches. Like we're actually hella down to earth and like just like to like the vibe. So
but we tried the vlog thing, was forced. And just we were trying to figure out things to do, and all we did was just go to work and go home and fucking eat out. Like that was really all we were doing. But
we're like, this shit is not interesting. Nobody wants to see that shit.
And now it's different because it's like, oh, we can just come in and just talk. This is what we do anyways in the car.
It feels
like,
more personal because like we were putting on a show for vlogs. Like we didn't even like post that many. We posted like 2. But it was just like ingenuine and just like didn't feel right. So now that we're able to do this, like it feels way better.
And this is like what we do anyways. Like we come into work and we talk dead ass for like an hour. And then after work we talk for like an hour. And then, like it'd be hard to go home sometimes. I'd be like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, definitely. It's I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun job too. But
we're blessed. We're blessed for real. Yeah,
we are. And then this last month of like having the idea to podcast, I know we'd always talked about it, but never really went serious or were serious about it. But this last month has just been like go. Like
I mean, just we had the idea like probably like just 2 months ago or a little bit less than 2 months. And then we were just like, oh, let's do it. And then I like at the beginning of the year too, I set like my intention for the year. My word for the year was action. And it's just like, okay, if I have an idea, I'm going to act on it. And so like for us to just like all get together and be like, okay, let's do this. Like just like, fun.
The day we had the idea, we were ordering shit like the next day. Like
we were like, okay.
You guys went like cuckoo like right away because I feel like I was like so like busy during that time, and then you guys just like damn near had to fucking do everything because I was like couldn't even.
She had some time off, and then it's like I'm just here booking whatever. So like we were coming up here and because our studio's at the shop, so we were just coming upstairs and we're just like putting shit together, ordering stuff, like just brainstorming up here like for so long. But I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, we just been going hard with it, really.
Yeah. But
And
I feel like it came together like, I don't want to say like super quick, but it feels super quick.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
I think like relatively like
Yeah.
Like
From
it
starting
felt
at
like
nothing and then having the studio we have. It's
Yeah.
like,
because I know this takes some people years.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
yeah.
I know.
Just
Yeah.
lucky.
I know.
Feel
Yeah.
lucky.
No, definitely. It doesn't even. And then Jack said something the other day. We were just up here talking, and he's like, "Well, I have one life. I'm gonna see how far I can take it." And now that
Exactly.
has stuck with me. I'm like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get where I want to go, and just like to live a better life than I've seen anybody around me live. And I don't know. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
And I feel like a little baby in the world right now. Like there's so much ahead of me. Like
Yeah.
even though part of me is like, oh, I'm late because I'm 25 now, and like I'm not successful because you guys are successful so young.
Yeah.
But
But I feel like that too. I'm 27, and it's just like I'm not anywhere near where I want to be,
yeah.
which is like a scary feeling, but also like the best feeling because I feel like, well, I love the grind and I love trying to like get better at things and like stuff like that. So like it's, I don't know, it's cool to like try and like, I don't know, push it and do better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just be thinking about like, some people are like 30 and still haven't even like, they're still, you know, fucking up every day. Like they don't even have a job. So it's like,
But I also think it's important, like how I tried out a lot of things. I think it's so important to try out, unless you just know for sure, and like how you felt it from a young age. We didn't, so we had to like really try out a lot of things and like see what was right. And I think that's important, being younger and just being like 18, 19, or even early 20s.
Yeah.
Just figure out what's right for you and try a bunch of shit. And you know, even if people are saying shit like, oh, you pick things up, you drop it, whatever, like you just know you're gonna find something eventually that's gonna feel right, and you know you're gonna be on the right path, but you just have to keep going.
Yeah, because I feel like even like being 21 and knowing what I want to do is like a crazy feeling, because I remember being like fresh out of high school and everybody's like, you know, asking you what you want to do, and it's just like this whole fucking panic. I'm like, I don't fucking know. And then when I was like 18, 19, I just felt like a failure because I was just jumping between job and job and job. Like I probably had like fucking 15 jobs by the time I was
insane.
like 19. Like I just
crazy.
didn't even know.
Yeah.
And then people are like, you know, what makes you feel like so focused and want to be so successful? And I'm just like, I just want to do better. Like I don't want to be, you know,
and then
failure.
We've always talked about this, but something I've always told myself from a young age, or like known inside myself, I was like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to work a regular job. Like I know I'm not supposed to just do what everybody else does. And that's something I know you felt. Like, what was the thing you would always tell yourself?
I mean, I don't know. I just like believed
You just knew
that I was
Yeah.
capable of whatever
Yeah.
I set my mind to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like that's why, like, jumping between so many jobs, it was like something in my heart was like, this is not meant for me. Like,
Yeah.
I physically and mentally cannot force myself to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
every
horrible.
job I would
It's
be at,
soul-crushing.
I'd be like, dude, I'm not made to make
Yeah.
this. First of all, this amount of money.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, see the bitch I am?
yeah, like, there ain't no way. Like, there is no way I'm going to live like this forever. And then, like, and just, like, I guess just, like, physically being there, like, having to clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
And, you
Oh,
know,
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
no, yeah, I had like I could not do authority.
yeah, the
Like,
whole, that's what I was about to say.
no,
The whole authority
problem, yeah.
thing,
I
like,
couldn't.
it makes you, like, go fucking crazy thinking that somebody's, like, controlling you. And, like,
Yeah.
of course, like, being a tattoo artist, you know, usually you have a boss, but it's, like, a completely different feeling because you're still your own artist. And, like, you basically...
You're your own business.
You're your own business, yeah. Like, you have your own, you know, little, like, stamp to yourself.
Yep. Because realistically, you could take yourself anywhere and do what you're doing
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy about tattooing. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, like you can go to a different country and
It's
still
the
be-
dream job.
It is. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
it really is. That's why I don't know.
Yeah, like,
just
we
so
could go to
blessed.
Miami for a week and make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take your work wherever.
Yes, that's pretty much like all we're gonna get into today.
Yeah.
We just don't, we don't want to make these a little, too long. We're excited to like for everybody to get to know us more and just see our personalities, and even it's like I feel like you're not even scratching the surface on who we are and like
Yeah.
our personalities. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
feel like
some
an
of our
hour
story.
like flew by. So.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah,
it went,
that was crazy.
yeah. I thought that was
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna be able to like talk so much
Yeah.
more, but I'm like, I feel like
We
I
have,
barely said anything.
We
Yeah,
got
we
like
have a
into
bunch of
our
other
first
topics.
Our first topic.
Yeah, I know.
Just
It took like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm you know, I'm excited to start pumping out vlogs. Or not vlogs, fucking podcasts.
Well,
But,
both.
both actually, yeah. We want to get it, even though we want to get into vlogging because it feels more comfortable now, and it kind of goes along with this. You're still going to see a different side of us other than podcasting. But yeah, we're excited to follow us on Instagram, obviously, YouTube, TikTok. We have like all of it. We want to put this out on all platforms. You know, Spotify, Apple Music, just anything you can listen to. We're gonna put out the visual, obviously, on YouTube and everything. Yeah, we're excited to get this out. You know, follow us on Instagram, Just the Tattoos, BG Inc. with 2 Ks, and then Charlie Ray Inc. We'll put it in there because my name is long. It's spelled weird. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to just whatever. But yeah,
Charlie.
thank
And
you.
then like
Yeah.
also in the comments, just let us know like, do you like the longer content? Like
Yeah.
what type? You know, what do you guys want to see? Because we'll just do what you guys want. You know,
yeah.
like,
Do you want 2
Yeah.
hours? Do you want 30 minutes? Do you want an hour?
yeah.
Whatever is more digestible, I
And
guess.
then, like, give us some topics that you guys want
Yeah.
to listen
Oh, yeah.
to.
Yeah, we're gonna put our email on the screen too. We want you guys to send in questions or just topics that you want to hear. You know, just feedback. We want feedback. That's the only way we're gonna learn and get better and grow. Yeah. So let us know what you guys think, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.